Welcome to the Lissa Goodman Show. And every week I have the incredible honor to interview people in the wellness space that are game changers. Today is a really fun one, especially for me. It's Amanda Jones, who's the co-creator of a brand called Kikoko. It's a CBD THC tea. They have 4 different flavors. They're coming out with many more products this year, and I've been using 2 of them for the last year quite consistently. I've been promoting them on my Instagram, social media. I absolutely love them. They've been a game changer, Amanda. I love them.
I'm so pleased to hear that.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. The pleasure is all mine.
Your story is so incredible in regards to just, what you were doing in the past. Traveling all over the world, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What did you exactly do? A little bit.
I never expected to be a marijuana maven, as they call us. That really came as quite a surprise later in life.
Yeah.
I was a journalist for 25 years before that. I actually wrote for the LA Times.
Oh.
Their travel section. I was doing a lot of adventure travel writing. Dream job, right? Dream job.
It was a dream job.
It really was.
Loved the travel.
I loved it. I was in fashion before that and didn't love that quite so much. And then got into journalism. And then we had a friend with cancer. And you know all about that.
Right.
And
was she going through pain?
It was terminal. This whole idea was hers. She really came to Jen first, my wonderful business partner who's been a friend of mine for 25 years, been besties for 25 years.
And still besties. Even with work.
I know, people say that's a miracle, right? To carry that, but we just really respect each other. And we have fun. We have a lot of fun. But Jan, our friend who had cancer, was the one who said, there's nothing for women. There's
the pain.
Exactly. She was treating cancer, nausea, appetite loss, stress and anxiety. Nobody really takes into consideration the toll on your body just having cancer and the stress and anxiety of the threat of dying and for pain. So she was using it, but she was getting way too high from a lot of the products.
Right.
And so it was her idea to say somebody needs to come up with a brand specifically for women that doesn't have tie-dyed pot leaves all over the packaging, which back then was pretty much de rigueur.
And doesn't taste like,
Doesn't taste like weed. Exactly. Yeah. And so we said, we'll do it. God, really? And then what I know now, but we did it. And
so how did that, how did tea come into the picture?
Right.
And the herbs that go in. I mean, that's what's so beautiful about it too.
Well, we wanted it to be we set out to be a wellness company, women's wellness focused. And cannabis is just another plant medicine. It's been used for 5,000 years as a medicine, just like so many of the other herbs that are in our teas.
Right.
So we said we're going to be all organic. We're not going to have a lot of fat and sugar in our products. We're going to make things that are wellness oriented. Yeah. So, and we also wanted it to, exactly, they had to taste good and they had to be water soluble, no oil slick on the surface, which was hard to do. Scientifically, it was very, very difficult to do. It took us 2.5 years and 3 science teams to crack that.
Wow.
But we did it. Tea was a very difficult delivery system, so we found out. But we wanted it to be discreet. We wanted it to be something that women are used to doing, that is healthful. You're not going to rush back and take another chocolate and get way too high.
Right.
It takes you about 15, 20 minutes to drink a cup of tea. And the other element that we loved was that the women's movement in the UK, so the women's suffragette movement, which started in the UK in the late 1800s, was hosted at tea rooms. They would gather, these women could safely come together for over a cup of tea and foment change, political change, which is why women have the vote today.
Yeah. So that's why you started your tea parties. Too.
Exactly. Bringing women together, because we all know that just as people trust you for wellness advice, women trust each other.
Yeah.
And from experience, people who say, I slept on this, or this made my anxiety go away.
Exactly.
Or we hear stories from all these women who have used the products and it works.
Right. And so the word weed kind of like gets in the way for people and also an older generation.
Yep.
And I would say I'm in the older generation. So I know a lot of my friends are like, ooh, am I going to get high? What's the feeling going to be like? Because I know it's interesting. They were very upset with their kids smoking the weed. And now all of a sudden, they're going to dip into it, which is quite fascinating. But this is this is such a beautiful way to do it. What do you tell women, that haven't ever ventured into weed or did have some experiences in high school that didn't do so well with all of that?
Well, we've all heard what we call the whole brownie, that story, right?
Yes.
You take the whole brownie and you ride the crazy train, and it's not a pleasant experience.
No.
And we heard that over and over. We interviewed hundreds of women when we were starting out. What do you need? What are you looking for as an alternative to pharmaceuticals and alcohol?
Yeah.
So you get to a certain stage, you don't really want to be swilling back the wine so much anymore. And so they all said, well, if you can help us sleep, if you can help us with stress and anxiety, if you can help us with pain and inflammation, mood, and libido. That was another big one for women who are growing a little bit older.
True.
And so we started out with very low doses. When we first went into the dispensaries early on and said, if we make this, will you buy it? They said, you will be laughed out of dispensaries with these low doses.
Wow.
Because, for example, this one only has 3 milligrams of THC. Which back then was super, super low.
Exactly.
We were one of the first to do that. So you won't get high on this one. You might feel relaxed, but it won't make you high. And so we then made different ratios. This one, the sleep one, is our bestseller.
Yeah, could you talk a little bit about the sleep one?
So this one actually has valerian root and chamomile and some other lemongrass and things like that that are plant medicines, exactly, calming. But it also has CBD. This one has CBN, which is the cannabinoid that makes you sleepy, makes you drowsy.
Is there only one CBN? Is there only one cannabinoid that makes you sleepy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
out of all the 100 cannabinoids?
CBD can help make you drowsy and help make you sleepy, but it doesn't keep you asleep.
Right.
That's the issue, is that you cycle out of it pretty quickly. CBN is designed to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
Yeah.
So those 4 a.m. wake-ups where you're just, I don't know what it is. Well, apparently it's estrogen levels dipping.
Yeah, definitely.
So we set out to help with that. So that and THC. The one thing that really with this whole CBN movement is the dirty little secret is that THC is the real medicine. And if you talk to the doctors, the lead doctors in the space, Dr. Ethan Russo among them, they'll tell you that a little bit of THC goes a long way.
Because it works synergistically,
it
right?
does,
I mean,
exactly.
that is the question that everyone's asking right now, Amanda, is, there's CBD everywhere. There's CBD tinctures, then there's hemp, all of that, and everyone's so confused.
They are confused. CBD from hemp, the hemp doesn't have as many cannabinoids as the marijuana plant. They're both cannabis.
Okay.
Hemp is one type that was grown industrially more for fiber. And marijuana was developed over time and has the higher THC.
Right.
Now, not to say a lot of people are being helped by hemp's CBD. And we are coming out.
High doses, don't you?
You have to do higher doses than I think most people are taking.
Right.
But look, even if it's a placebo effect, there is scientific evidence around the placebo effect helping us because you convince your brain. And your brain can do amazing things, as you well know, to your health.
So you believe in something,
exactly,
it works.
You believe, you receive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of science around that. There is science around high levels of just CBD from hemp being very successful in helping inflammation. CBD doesn't help with pain quite as much as THC. If you're in real pain, it's THC that's the one that's going to help. And unfortunately, it's the higher doses. Did you use?
No, just with the cancer people. They really need the THC for the pain.
Yeah, and they need higher doses. Yeah.
And the anxiety, and that's really bad these days. You could do this high doses of CBD.
Right.
Depending.
So this one, we made this one for those people. This one is Positivi-Tea.
And that's for anxiety?
No, it's really for mood.
Okay, to lift your mood.
To lift your mood, and it's also a great one for pain.
Okay.
Because it's got 10 milligrams of THC, which is strong for most people. We would never tell a newbie to start out with this one.
Right.
But it's also got 5 milligrams of CBD because it just
so
counteracts.
low CBD and high THC.
Yep, because the CBD mellows out any paranoia or any anxiety that some people, how people say, oh my God, I took too much THC and I got paranoid.
Right.
The CBD helps offset any of that.
Okay.
But even then, 10 milligrams is not enough to make you ride the crazy train.
Yeah.
But you build up to that.
Crazy train.
Yes.
That says it all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not a fun experience.
No.
It's really not. And we hate hearing those stories because it puts people off trying it again.
Yes.
And we're here low end, and the new products we're coming out with are even lower.
Can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
this?
We're coming out with these wonderful Manuka honey shots. Manuka from New Zealand. I'm from New Zealand. It's
Okay.
actually from a friend's farm in the back of Beyond in New Zealand. Beautiful, beautiful hives, beautiful farm.
I love honey. It's so good for
Yeah.
you.
Well,
So-
Manuka honey in particular
Yes.
is anti-inflammatory and antibacterial.
Right.
In fact, you can put it straight on wounds in
Skin,
hospitals.
yeah.
They're doing that. So we're using the Manuka honey,
Okay.
and we're infusing that with THC and CBD. And then we have one with CBN for sleep, CBN and a little bit of THC. And some melatonin in there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little
Oh, I
bit of
love
melatonin.
that.
What people don't
Addition.
realize is that you can overdose easily on melatonin.
Yeah.
And most people are taking too much, which is
Exactly.
not good. So
Right.
it's just a little bit. The sleep honey's fabulous. One for focus,
Okay.
and one for calm, and one for buzz, just straight up THC.
Well, then what are the sticks? Are those just...
These are our old form. These ones that we did a beta launch of the honey
Yeah.
just to see how it
Oh,
would
okay,
go.
so this is
and
just
it's done so
testing.
well.
Yeah.
We're now coming out with compostable little packaging, little honey shots
Yeah.
that are just,
Okay.
and it's all compostable.
And what happens if you put the honey in with the tea and you
You
mix
know,
the two?
you can absolutely do that.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend you don't, because you kill the UMF, the unique Manuka factor. So that when you pour boiling water on honey, it kills the
That's
goodness in
true.
it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we suggest people don't do that. Put it on your cereal, just take it by itself.
Right.
Put it in a smoothie. That's the best way to have it.
Right.
Yeah. And we're also coming out with little mints called Little Helpers.
Okay.
The modern day mother's little helper.
This is amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, the packaging alone,
Thank
I have
you.
to congratulate you on.
Thank
Because
you.
I'm slightly obsessed.
Well, thank you. And I wish I could take credit, but we hire female artists from all over the world to do our packaging. So each different line of products has a different artist that does a different design for each of the SKUs.
Right. I mean, they're exquisite.
Thank
I mean,
you.
there's something
Thank
you
you.
definitely want to have out on your counter.
Right, right.
Or
And we
wherever
want
you
that.
are. Yeah, you do.
We want people
Right.
to reuse them, upcycle them.
Yeah.
So we've got some great packaging coming out. I'm really excited about the future of the packaging.
What are some of the stories that just kind of blow your mind with the people that use this?
Well, this is what keeps us going, the testimonials, and we get them unsolicited all the time.
I bet.
Some of our favorites. Well, one of my favorites is somebody wrote in and said, "Damn couples therapy. All you need is Kikoko Sensuali-Tea. Best sex ever."
Right. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I love
so
that.
I love that one. That's a good one on that front,
Yes.
because we don't talk about the fact that we need some help with sex sometimes as we age. So, and we need to
Some.
bring that
A
a lot of the
lot.
time, right?
Yeah,
We
right.
need to start to talk about that
Yeah.
and to seek out things that are going to help us make it more enjoyable, make it us just more open to it.
Right.
So we are
Not to
opening
be
that
afraid to talk
conversation.
about these things,
Exactly.
right. Yes.
Exactly. And women sharing that information is very important.
Yeah.
So that one's a good one. But really what touches us are the people that said, "You got me through my cancer," or "I haven't slept in 5 years and I had your Tranquili-Tea, and within a week I was completely off my Ambien." Or
Wow.
I've been addicted to Ambien for 5 years. I was too. When we started this company, I was addicted to Ambien.
Really?
And it was awful. It's
Yeah,
not,
it
not
is
fun.
awful.
Yeah,
No.
some bad things can happen.
And the anxiety stuff, I mean, I'm sure that. Like, what about depression? Any?
Depression. We have. Now, we're very careful about telling people not to throw away their depression
know.
meds. You really need to be under the supervision of a doctor.
Right.
But we do say that this one in particular can really help with anxiety.
Okay.
And it just makes you, I'm going to just put it out there, I'm a mother.
Yes.
Makes you a nicer mother, right? When the teenagers
Right.
are there and
Right.
and they say, "Well, I've got 6 kids coming for dinner, Mom.
you
What do we
make
got
dinner?"
for dinner?"
Or
And you're like, "Okay, bring it on, bring it
Right.
on." And you can just
really
roll with the
chills you
punches.
out.
It does. It just,
You don't
I
need that glass
get-
of wine, are you saying? Like
Yeah,
you could
you
skip
don't need
maybe
that.
that
Yep.
tequila shot? That's what I do.
Yeah.
So-
Right. And what I do also is I chill this one.
Yeah.
And I just make cocktails out of it. So- and
Wow.
no alcohol. It tastes
Okay.
fantastic. You can add whatever you want to it.
Right.
On our website,
That's
we
a
have
great
recipes.
idea.
It's a great
Okay.
idea. You just keep a flask of it chilled. And then you're just a much nicer, happier person. And so you enjoy being yourself more too.
Right.
Because you're leaving behind the stress of whoever said don't sweat the small
Small
stuff.
stuff, right.
It's so true.
Right.
But this helps
Exactly.
with that.
Well, I did a lunch and served the tea, and people, it was the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, it was really fun. Like, people were so open about what they were talking about. It was like, wow, is this really working? Like, they had one cup of tea, and it was just so beautiful. They were relaxed and laughing and and it was the middle of the day. And usually women, you know, sort of are stressed out the middle of the day to capture them, to get them to relax. So, I mean, I just think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, the two parties are fun.
And to have the alternatives.
Exactly.
That's
They're
what
healthier.
I'm all about. Yeah.
I know you are, and bravo to you, because frankly, we need to be switching. We need to be choosing plant medicine instead of alcohol and pharmaceuticals, in where we can safely do that.
Yeah.
And plant medicines are making a comeback.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. I mean, and it's right. They've been around for centuries.
Yeah.
We know they work. You know, we've been using them forever. And this whole, you know, over-the-counter medication is killing us.
It really is. The addiction problems that we're seeing right now are just among them.
Right.
And so we are really standing up and saying, women, take back your health. Leave that stigma behind. It was a politically motivated stigma back in the 1930s, backed by big industry. It's shameful. We're still seeing the same thing today, but that stigma has been embedded in our DNA, and we need to leave that behind now. And just start low, go slow, and try different things.
That really, I know, and that to be adventurous, and to have faith that some of these things will work. And who helped you? Did someone help you with the herbal remedies, like the mixture of them? Because they're so beautiful in regards to, you know, what's in each of them really does speak to what the product does.
Well, we did a lot of research. That's the journalist in me. I like to research things. And so I did a lot of research on plant medicines and efficacy.
Yeah.
And then we actually hired a master tea blender out of LA.
Okay.
And we worked with her on developing these blends. And we said, quality, it has to be top quality. We don't want cut teas. We don't want tea dust. We want whole leaves, whole plants, which is a much higher quality of tea. It's expensive to do it that way, and they have to be organic. And in fact, it's very difficult to source plant medicines that are organic.
The plant medicines that are organic, not the tea necessarily.
Well, there aren't many teas. The only one of these that actually has tea is this one that's green tea in it. Okay. The rest all have only herbs. So,
speaking of organic, because your, you know, weed is organic, your CBD, how hard is that? That's a big thing that's happening right now.
Well, we started out that way.
Buy organic, but they're like, how do we
Absolutely.
go
Well,
there?
Since legality, if you're buying legally through the dispensary, they are testing to make sure there's no pesticides in that. But when we first started, there was none of that. And we'd buy organic oil. And of course, we tested. We test everything. We test 5 times in the process. We found pesticides. And so, you know, back in the day, you couldn't return your cannabis oil. So we would throw away tens of thousands of dollars worth of oil.
Wow.
Just to stand by our word, because we weren't going to put pollutants in people's bodies or pesticides. So we stand by that. We now work with Flocana, who work with biodynamically and organically grown farmers up in the Emerald Triangle, Northern California. The best. These are the farmers that have been growing for decades, who play music to their plants. And there is science that shows that plants actually do better.
That too.
It's true, they do. It's unsurprising, right? But it's true. So you go out into the fields and there's music. And it's a beautiful thing to behold.
So they are blasting music into the fields.
Classical music.
Classical music, because I was just going to ask which kind.
Classical music to the plants. And they love their plants. And Flocana said, you do what you do best. You grow organically, you grow biodynamically, and we'll help you get legal. We'll help you sell your cannabis. And so that's what we're aiming to be using as our sole source going forward.
So I just see this really exploding and growing as states legalize, right?
Yes,
It's just going to be
it's bigger and bigger, which it has to be. And we are going into hemp, because then we can ship nationally and internationally. So we're going to have a line of hemp teas and hemp honeys and a line of hemp adaptogenic gummies.
Oh, wow. You have a lot on your plate.
We do. We really do.
It's all fantastic, too.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you so much. My honor's mine.
All my guests, if they had to sum up their mission in one word.
Right.
Amanda, what would yours be?
In one word?
Yeah, I know that's a tough one.
Gosh, knowledge. Knowledge
is power.
and or empowerment. We say we're empowering women to make better decisions with their health.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so wonderful, and we really appreciate it.